Good evening. I'm Councillor Michael Jones. I'm leader of Crawley Borough Council. This is my first question and answer session as leader of the council, and I'm very keen to engage with residents as much as possible. And this is a great way to do that, in my view. So please ask me your questions, and I'll do my best, my very best, to try and answer them. I can't guarantee I'll have all the answers for you, and I shall be looking as carefully as I can for questions in the chat. But if I don't know the answer, I'll endeavour to find them out for you. It would be remiss of me if I didn't start by talking a little about the way the town came together following the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. The Queen was such an enduring part of our national life, and most of us will never have remembered another sovereign on the throne. And her reign's been long, and it's seen the world transformed around us, so may she rest in peace. But it was an honour to speak and represent Crawley residents at the beautiful commemoration service at St John's Church on Sunday evening. And now, obviously, we look to a new era. We live in a democracy with a constitutional monarchy, and I wish our new king, Charles III, a fulfilling reign. So now I'll go through a few important council updates. Please do submit your questions. I can't see any at the moment. I can't see the chat pane actually, but well, I'm sure we can look at that. So anyway, don't forget to ask any questions you have in the comments. But just to mention a few things. First of all, you may have seen in the news, but that Goffs Park we're having a consultation on the future of Goffs Park. So please do have your say. You may have seen we actually had a face-to-face event in the park a couple of days ago, but you have still got time to take part in the online consultation, which you can find at the website, which is crawley.gov.uk/consultation. You've got until the 29th of September to do that. Now we're having a couple of technical issues at the moment, just making sure we can view your questions. But I'll just move on a little bit while we're on that. Clearly, a very big issue at the moment is the cost of living crisis, and it's having a huge impact on household finances. But help is available, and we've pulled all together a lot of support, very useful, on our website, and it's available in one place to make it easy to find. And that's so if you visit crawley.gov.uk/money worries, all one word, to find out more, then you can certainly find that there. Right, I'm afraid we're having a few technical issues here, and I'm not the world's greatest person at using Facebook Live, so we're just literally trying to find the questions on this, and so bear with us a second. It's you'd think where it says on well, it's saying no questions at the moment, so I'll just carry on, and hopefully one will emerge. There's plenty going on in Crawley, as you won't be surprised to hear, and what we're trying to do in Crawley is obviously have a lot of things going on. There's but one thing that we're pleased that has actually happened is that the £150 towards energy bills, we've paid in Crawley now over 38,000 households their £150 energy bill rebates, and that's 99.2% of eligible households, which is total of nearly £6 million. Now, if you are one of the very small number of people who are eligible and you haven't got it yet, then you can visit crawley.gov.uk/energy rebate to apply. Yes, right, well, we are just trying to have a quick look. Hi there. Right, I think we're back in business, but we will work through that. Can I just say hello to everyone? And I'm just looking through the questions now, and I think the first one is to do with parking at Tilgate Park. There's a question from Mark. Can you do something about the parking near Tilgate Park? Now, on-street car parking around Tilgate Park is currently allowed. You'd actually have to have a controlled parking zone put in order to limit it to residents and permit holders only in those areas, and that's called a controlled parking zone. And West Sussex County Council are responsible for those. I don't like to pass the buck, but they're the Highways Authority, and Crawley Borough Council, I'm afraid, has very little influence it can make on that side of things. Sorry about that, but your county councillor should be able to talk to you about what is achievable there. Hello, Dorota, saying please could you advise if there are any plans regarding hot compost bins? Just changing this. Hello, everyone. By the way, who's saying hello, and good to see the council on live. I agree. And just to answer on the hot compost bins, there was a trial, but the number of bins was exceeded, and there's not a further trial anticipated at the moment. I understand. So. There we are. It's moving modestly at the moment, but please do keep your questions coming in, and I will try to keep an eye on those, and I'm sure I will succeed. I was mentioning earlier on that there's a lot of events on in Crawley, and I think that's certainly true. One of the things that's on is the and if you haven't seen it, please get down there, is the Earth in County Mall. It's on until Monday the 26th of September, and it's a 7-metre diameter representation of planet Earth to highlight the beauty of our planet and the urgency to take action to save it. And it looks amazing. And there's a special event on Saturday the 24th of September that basically from 11:30 to 4:30. So for all, good for all the family. So if you can make it, that's really good. I'm just looking at the questions now, and Ian has written, given that the British Geographical Survey report submitted to government on fracking warned that houses within 10 miles of fracking sites are at risk of impact, what will CBC be doing given that Balcombe is nearby and was a possible site previously? Today the government's gone back on their manifesto pledge of 2019 despite that report. Ian, I absolutely agree with you. I've never been in favour of fracking. I think there are very serious issues involved with it. There's seismic activity, there's dangers of potential water contamination, and also it's ruinous for the countryside where it happens, and it doesn't actually do anything to try and actually address any of the issues to do with the price of gas, the energy security. CBC, we will need to look into any local impacts. We can certainly make representations on planning issues, but I'm fairly certain I'm correct in saying that a lot of those decisions and licences are granted on a governmental level, not a local council level. As far as I'm concerned, this is a serious issue, and it's very unwelcome that the government's revisiting that. Had a question from Joe. Why have you stopped signposts for disabled spaces in residential streets? Without them, anyone can park in the marked disabled spaces, making them pointless. Well, I know this is not a straightforward issue, but what I would say, Joe, is if you can let me know where if there's any specific examples, you can email me on michael.jones@crawley.gov.uk. I'd rather, if people can, if they've got really specific or personally identifying details or problems to raise, if you could email me. Don't dox yourself in the chat, please. Um, yeah, yeah. I think there's issues with disabled spaces in general. Many of them don't necessarily have an accompanying legal regulation order that the county council have to put in, so they're not as enforceable as we might like. But if there are any issues, let me know. I think Luke's emailed in about the parking in Lansbury Roads. Yeah, I do sympathise, Luke. Parking pressures are always a really big issue, and Crawley Borough Council used to be able to try and do things about that. It's become more difficult, particularly with the budget cuts. But Lansbury Road, I think there's an issue with the trees as well. But you know, thanks for that. And I can't promise any immediate action, but it's certainly something we're aware of. Sheila's written in, something needs to be done about parking in Vulcan Close at school pickup. They were parking 3 across the grass, pavement and road, including the double yellow lines. Sheila, you won't be surprised to hear that the issues around parking at school, around peak school times, you know, picking up times and putting in times, always seems to be carnage, sadly. And it would be nice if some of the motorists involved exercised a bit more restraint and consideration. I do think that schools and head teachers have a part to play in this, in reminding the users of the school and their parents, and they need to be a bit more considerate. But again, if you want to talk to us, parking enforcement teams are deployed. Although there has to be a valid traffic regulation order in place in order to control it, obviously. But we can certainly look at that, and we can actively send our civil enforcement officers down if we feel that there's things going on. But thank you for drawing that to our attention. And as I said, if you want to email me on any specific issues relating to that, I will make sure that attention is given to that, certainly. Okay, thank you, Joe. I look forward to that email. Right, I have a question now from a Mr. Smith of Maidenbower. So, having spent the summer taking my grandchildren to school in Maidenbower and seeing the absolute chaos caused by the large volumes of cars and no footpaths in the car park, will CBC work to get a school street implemented there, please? It's very unsafe for our children at the moment. Okay, we'll look into that, Peter. I'll definitely try and do that. Neil's written in. He's talking about the Hazelwick flyover needing bushes and weeds that are growing into the road that need to be destroyed. I will look into that. It's possible we can get our teams to do that. It might be a county council issue. The county council county council look after the roads, and they do need to keep their parts as clean and tidy. But we're not saying we won't do anything. So leave that with us, Neil. We'll look into. I'll ask officers to look into that. Right. Okay. There's a question from Ben about glowworms. Right. I suppose the short answer is I'll have to look into that one, Ben. Thanks. Thanks. It'll no doubt be an illuminating answer. Yeah, watch this space. Sheila's written in about parking spaces in Nuthouse Close. Yes, I seem to remember walking down that close in the past, Sheila, and thinking similar. It is essentially a county council issue. It's with highways. I can, as leader of the borough council, we do not take the lead on highways issues, but I would definitely take that point on board. Jessica's written in, the drug dealing, use and antisocial behaviour at Goss Park is getting worse. Is there anything that can be done? I can promise you, Jessica, that we do regularly send the wardens down to some of the trouble spots. We're aware that there's been issues at Goss Park in recent times. It's something I take very seriously. I'll also ask if the Safer Crawley Partnership can give a bit more time and attention to this. And clearly it is unacceptable, and we will continue to monitor it. And I do know, because I've spoken to the head of the community wardens myself, that this is something we're doing. But I'll also see if Sussex Police can do anything with their patrols as well. Certainly, it seems to me that it wouldn't do any harm if the PSPOs could go down from time to time. So, I do think. Right. There's Neil's pleasure, Jessica. Neil's raised an issue about hooded youths. Again, if it's possible, Neil, for you to email me at michael.jones@crawley.gov.uk if you've got any specific areas where this is happening. I am aware there's a few issues in the town centre recently with what seems to be, to describe it kindly, rowdy behaviour. But if you're thinking of something different, then I think, let me know. That's the questions I've got up till now. But I think you might not be surprised to hear there's plenty going on in Crawley. So I've got a few other things that I can let you know about. The first is, it's great news. It's turned around again quite quickly, but the Continental Street Market's back in Queen Square from Thursday the 29th until Sunday the 2nd of October. There's food from around the world and craft items. It's always great to visit. I do enjoy it myself. No doubt, Councillor Atif Nawaz and I will be popping our sombreros on and going down there again. Interesting. Not sure which continent that is, but it is always a great event, and I look forward to it immensely. Shouldn't forget as well that the Black History Month starts in October, and there will be an exhibition at Crawley Museum all month, and indeed I believe on Saturday the 1st there will be there will actually be a special event to launch it, which I know I'm attending and looking forward to. But it is always extremely interesting to go down to the museum. If you haven't been, and I know there's a few people who haven't, it's definitely worth a visit. It's free, and it's very central. It's in the town centre. It's at the Tree, which is right at the end of the boulevard on the corner with on the junction with London. The High Street. So definitely worth a look there. Let's see, have we got any more questions? Raggy has written in. Can I ask? It's raising an issue about getting a new kitchen installed, I think. Well, can you? I do apologise if you've been having delays, and I'm afraid, obviously, I don't know the specifics of that. But can you email me? Please email at michael.jones@crawley.gov.uk and let me know your details. And I do promise you, I'll chase it up and have a friendly word with our head of housing to see where that's going. Clearly, Crawley Borough Council is a very large landlord, and we do try our best. And I cannot imagine for a moment that there's been any wish to delay this any longer than is possible. But if you can give me the details, Raggy Doll, I will happily chase that up for you. So thanks. Saran has written in, and she said we have a craft fair in the old Ask building on the 1st of October. If people don't know where the Ask building is, it's the rather lovely looking older building on the High Street. I think it's a couple of doors up from the estate agents on the Coral side of the road, for those who know it. That's on the 1st of October. I might even try and pop in myself if I've got the chance on the day. I should be going to Crawley Museum anyway, so it's on the way. Right, Gillian has written in saying you'd like these to be more widely advertised. We'll do our best, Gillian. I think we would have telegraphed it a bit more, but it was scheduled in, and we didn't really want to put any publicity out over the morning period. We didn't feel it was the right thing to do. But sessions are promoted at least 4 times. If you're following Crawley Borough Council on Facebook or Twitter, I know that Crawley Observer and Spotted Crawley also give details of it. So, but it is a good point, and I will try and share it a bit more widely myself as well next time. But I thought, let's get this one done and see how we go. Okay, yeah. They seem to be the questions we've got at the moment. So I'm glad to say I've got even more I can tell you about what's going on in Crawley. Throughout October, the town centre, Crawley Town Centre Business Improvement District, is holding some great Halloween events under the banner Creepy Crawley, which, very appropriate for Halloween, and we're taking it back. We're reclaiming it during October, and the first event's on Saturday, the 1st of October, with free outdoor cinema in the High Street. Don't worry, it won't be Nightmare on Elm Street. It's the films are going to be Casper and Hocus Pocus, and I understand there's going to be free street entertainment as well. So fun for all the family there, I would say. And of course, I'm sure I haven't gone through a comprehensive list of everything that's going on in the near future, but for a full events listing, you can visit crawley.gov.uk/events, and I'm sure a link can pop up in the message bar at some point to help people on their way. So that's all really quite fun. So let's have a look and see if there's any questions. Ben has written to me. Hello, Ben. I think asking if there's any truth that the council's invested in significant amounts in of our reserves or the staff's pension into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Right. Well, we haven't done that, Ben. Thanks for very much, and we would remember the password if we had, I suspect. So thanks for that. Very helpful. So Anne has written in, and this is the footbridge over the A23 at Gossetts Green. And talking about there's a ramp on the Gossetts Green side, but only steps on the Goss Park side. That is a West Sussex. That is a West Sussex issue, Anne, and they would have to do something about that. And you could contact the county councillor or your local county councillor, who I'm sure will be able to assist you with that. So let's have another look. Keep those questions coming in, including the incredibly constructive ones. Let's just let you know a few more things that are going on. Can I give a real plug now for something called My Crawley, which is the council's really useful interactive way online of actually accessing services and getting some of the things you need done. It's meant to be there to be convenient. You can access your rubbish and recycling updates. You can report missed bins if you need to, although hopefully there's not too much need to do that. If there's a form that you need to fill in for Crawley Borough Council, I'd be astonished if it isn't on there. And you can also do other useful things like review your council tax to view balances and bills. You can manage payments very easily, and there's also some really great offers you can get hold of on there as well. So particularly with the cost of living, it all helps. So you could definitely do that. at the moment, we do appear to be in a position where I haven't got any questions. I'm double checking with my elves to make sure that's the case, but well, it's if there aren't any issues, I'm delighted everyone's so happy. Yes. Oh, let's just double check I haven't missed any going back. Of course, this means I'll be scrolling back to see. Well, I'll just say hello to, as we've got a bit of time, I'll just say hello to Sharon and Dorota, who said hello. And we've got another question in. Let's see. When is Councillor Lamb coming back? Well, who knows? I'll ask him. Yes. Yeah, we did. We are looking. We are looking at. We are looking at the frequency, and I would say to everyone, what I would like to do, because this is new with me, I haven't got any really preconceived ideas about how we do this, and what format we take. If there's anything you think would be really useful, if you think you have any thoughts on the regularity of how we do this, then you're very welcome to drop me a line and let me know. You can either email me, as I said, on michael.jones@crawley.gov.uk, or you can put your comments in the chat if you don't mind. If you don't mind everyone reading them, that's perfectly fine. We've got a question in from John. Is there any way of lifting parking restrictions by schools at pick up and drop off times, especially for for people that have to travel? That again is a highways issue. It's county council. It's to do with the restrictions there about schools. It's in the highways code, and if there is anything to do with that, again, it's a county council matter, I'm afraid. So we've got that. Well, I mean, I do warn everyone, if I don't get questions to answer, I'll end up having to talk about the things I want to talk about, and that's that might not be of as much interest to you as it is to me. But just making a few reflections while we wait. It's obviously been a real privilege and an honour to become leader of Crawley Borough Council, and we do live in a really amazing borough, and having lived in a few places in my life, I really notice and appreciate some of the great things that we have here in Crawley, the amazing facilities, some of the beautiful assets that this town has. Things like Tilgate Park and Goffs Park, they're the real jewels in the crown, and it's such a pleasure. We've got a question from Gillian. Is the council planning to do more regarding insulating council homes? Well, Gillian, I'm glad you've asked me that. We are indeed. There is a programme. There is a programme at the moment which we're undertaking, and we're currently in consultation for most of it. And part of that happened at a recent estates day that we ran for tenants. But there is a programme anticipated that's going to roll out significant insulation for quite a large number of our existing council house stock, and that is that is certainly something that we will be doing. I don't have the numbers at my fingertips for that, but I do know that if it's a success, and I have every reason to believe it will be, that provided sufficient government money comes forward to help cover the costs of this, because it has to be done on a scale that requires additional funding. I'd love to be in a position to do it for all the homes that it's possible to do it for. Just having another quick look at the questions. Tim's asking about speeding on Stevenson Way. It's not an issue I'm aware of. We can, if you want to drop me a line about that, Tim, I can certainly refer it to our local district commander for the police, Chief Inspector Diaz, and ask if there's anything that can be done about that. But that's my email address, which is michael.jones@crawley.gov.uk. That will become very familiar. We're more than half. Well, we are now more than halfway through, I suppose, because the glass is half full. More questions, but yeah. Thanks, Luke. If we do have any more events, we can see what we can do to let you know. Yeah. While we wait for questions, I suppose there will be people who will be interested to know my priorities for Crawley, and it's a good question. I think very much passionate about ensuring that we increase the amount of affordable housing. That's predominantly through supplying council housing, because I think that there's a real demand. We have a waiting list of about 2,000 households, and they're the ones that have a realistic chance of getting on the list. There's more people I know, so we're very keen on doing this. We've got a whole programme of economic regeneration that we're trying to achieve things. People will have seen work at the station. Obviously, we've done some great work at Queen Square and across the Queensway. The new town hall is obviously coming up, and we're very excited about that when we get to move in. And it will be marvellous for service delivery. I feel very confident that the new modern ways and having that at our fingertips when we're in is going to be quite transformational, actually. We also have coming forward the other side of the town centre around the east, I think, or west of the boulevard. That will be coming forwards, and one of the things I feel very strongly about as well is that we've been through an awful lot through COVID, and I really want to reconnect us, and there's I mean, although a lot of that's happening, I still think it definitely needs some help. We want to address a lot of the inequalities that are happening, and we're bidding for. We're bidding for money to ensure that happens with the government. We've also got the levelling up money that we will be using to focus in on some of the most deprived areas of the town, which is something that we're working on. So I think I've got another few questions. Right, thank you. Hello, Daniel. Great admirer of your work. Thanks for your question. Which is a question about Taco Bell. And as far as I'm aware, unless my elves know better, that there's no real progress on that. I know, and indeed I'm one of them, there's lots of people who'd actually like to quite get in and use the facility there. Unfortunately, it's all been stalled because of an issue around water neutrality now. It's very easy for me to just use that term, but what is water neutrality? Basically, we've got an issue at the moment where, due to the inadequate nature of the water infrastructure, there is actually a shortage, and it's causing issues, which mean that a national government body called Natural England says that we can't actually do any development or continue with development which will have more of a demand on water. Now, that can be on a major level, like it's really stalling development of housing, but it also has another impact, which means that anything which is an existing change of planning use can't be given permission for it to go ahead if it uses more water. Now, the problem is, and I have great sympathy with the owners, is that when Taco Bell went in, water neutrality then came in, and unfortunately, as no one here, I dare say, will be surprised to hear, a fast food restaurant uses far more water than the bookmakers, which used to be there, and as a result, it's being held up. Now, I'm not at all happy about that, quite honestly. But we are restricted in what we can do. Now we're looking at that, and I also know that Southern Water apparently has a plan to rectify the issue about water supply so that we're not caught up in this. But at the moment, I'm afraid it's not good news, Daniel. I very much hope that it will not continue to blight businesses in the way it has. But unfortunately, this is something that is literally out of the council's hands. Right, Bridget's asked about solar panels on council houses. Well, actually, Bridget, we did actually have a programme some years ago where we did actually roll it out for a significant number of our council houses. And I would say that if we can get more funding from the government, that's certainly something we could look at again. The only issue we have is with a lot of houses in Crawley, they have to be facing the right way. Now I know technology might be moving on, but if they're not, is it south facing? I can't remember which direction it is now, but they have to be facing in a certain direction. Otherwise, that they weren't suitable. But it's definitely something I'm open-minded about. I'm hoping we can do that in the future. That's what I'll be doing. Right. Luke's asked a very good question about Broadfield Park. We are very committed to enhancing and ensuring that all our what I'm going to call our smaller parks are looked after. Clearly, we've done a lot of work at Tilgate Park, and I think that there's some amazing things that happen there, and we should be really proud of that. And it's an amazing place to go. People remember that historically, not that long ago, but a few years ago, we spent a lot of time and investment at Worth Park Gardens. That's really amazing as well. All certainly places that are worth doing. I think our major larger park that's left for something to be done now is Goffs Park, and we are now, as I mentioned earlier, spending some time, and we will be looking to invest a lot there as well, which I'm excited about, and watch this space. But do get involved in the consultation. And I was also very delighted as well recently to visit West Green Park, where the Millennium Gardens were reopened recently, and there's been a lot done there. So there's no question that we don't really value, and I know our local Broadfield council certainly value Broadfield Park. I wondered if Luke, you might ask, and we can certainly do this, if the Broadfield Park Friends of Broadfield Park group could contact us if they've got any particular ideas. I personally think that Broadfield Park's a lovely little park, and it's a real asset for the town. But if you any ideas, of course, I'm always open-minded to that, and I know that Councillor Chris Mullins, who looks after our parks, is our cabinet member for that area. He will certainly be keen to listen. I know. So keep them coming. Right. Let's have a look. Daniel, I think that you raised a good question. I don't know about a statue, but you raised a good question about recognising Gareth Southgate, and I think that's a very good idea, that we do something to honour Gareth. I know that there's been preliminary discussions. If Gareth wanted to come down next week, I'd sort something out, I reckon. But I think really we've got to get a time where Gareth is available. He's a very busy man, as you can imagine, and he's done some amazing work. There's some great achievements there. Statues, not so sure. I think I seem to recall the Ronaldo one not being a sort of a hugely overwhelming success. But as I said, I do think that we should be very proud of what Gareth's achieved in football, and I definitely want to recognise it at some point. And I know that I've been discussing it with our chief executive, so we will watch this space again. But yeah, Daniel, we're on it. I can promise you that. Nikki, there are no current plans to extend the PSPO order relating to Tilgate Park, or to do it anywhere else. Is the short answer. Right. And thank you for your suggestion, Ben, on the Gareth Southgate tribute. As I said, nothing's been fully decided yet, and we do need to talk to Gareth again. But believe me, rest assured we will. Right. I think hello to Dawn and Anne. But we are in a little lull again. We are in a little lull again to do. So keep those questions coming. I would like to make a special mention that this week the junior citizenship event is going on at the Horth, and that's a really wonderful achievement. It sadly went into hiatus over, understandably so, over the lockdown and COVID. But it's back, and it's a really good way of educating some of our local children. I understand 1,500 will have gone through, and it's lots of different good tips for young people for things they need to know about, and hopefully at an age they're old enough to understand it, but not too old that they're receptive to getting advice. And things to do with water safety, rail safety, to do with food, power safety, managing their money, all lots of great tips, water use, recycling and waste. I've been to the event in the past. I couldn't today for various reasons, unfortunately, but it's on this week, and I do hope if you've got a young person either you're related to or know that if they are the right age, they've been along and they've got something useful out of it. I really do. So no, I don't have a Parker pen, Ben. Thanks for the question. Keep them coming. Tracy, need signs put up next to communal bins to stop fly tipping, or the bins being moved. They're not enclosed, so that all sorts get dumped, and my garden is 2 foot from them when they need cleaning as well. Yes, I would encourage, please be responsible with where you dump your waste. If they're communal bins, they're clearly there for the people who live in the area, and they're there to be used appropriately. Don't abuse that, please. We still have a service where if someone does have something they need, you can get it collected. The tip at County Oak, which is run by the County Council, that is still open at least 6 days a week, and so there should be some opportunity to do that. Julia asks about warm hubs. We are looking at it. I've discussed this with the chief exec, and if they become necessary, something will be brought forward. I can't give you precise details about that at the moment, but I can assure you that this is something that I take very seriously, and I do not want any single member of the public or resident of Crawley, no matter where they live, to be in any sort of dire emergency. So we will be looking to do the best we can on that. But thank you for your question, Julia. Let's have a quick look. Gloria, you might need to send your question again, because I don't get what you're trying to ask me now. Craig's asked about the new town hall. Yes, I mean, what we're going to do, Craig, is make sure we're in first, and that we've transferred our teams across. But I'm really excited about that, and I very much hope that we will be able to do something really nice to mark its opening. But I think realistically we're some time away from the official opening, but it will be available and open very soon. But as I said, bear with us, because we will be moving the teams in team by team. So it won't be an immediate everyone's over there. There'll be still people in the old tower to begin with, at least. But I've been in. I've had a look. The atrium, the main hall that people will go, and it looks amazing. The offices look extremely good. It's definitely something we can approach with great optimism. We've got a mention here, which I must from Dawn, which is we're also doing collections for the food banks that and I think I'm aware of this, Dawn, and I think you're doing some amazing work with you and your colleagues. Dawn and her colleagues are doing collections for the food banks with the Easter team in the Crawley Free Shop, and they were at Langley Green, there's been some very generous donations, and Dawn tells me they're going to do their next collection at Peterhouse Parade in Pound Hill from 1 till 4 on Saturday, the 1st of October, and Thursday the 6th of October. So, and Dawn has rightly reminded me as well, there is people have been aware there's been some horrendous flooding in Pakistan in the last few weeks, some dreadful damage done, and there's going to be a collection in the town centre on Saturday. I think it says the 1st of October here, so but I'm not even sure there's something going on this week actually. But whatever it is, there's obviously in Crawley we have quite a few residents who have close connections with what's happened and are feeling this very acutely. So obviously I send my deep concerns and support to and I know the mayor actually officially wrote to the president of Pakistan to do this. Let's have another look. Laurel has written in and raised an issue about the children's play area in Rushetts Roads, and I think this has been reported, Laurel, and we're looking into this, so hopefully we'll be able to get the issue that you've identified here sorted out. The little boy water fountain that was in Queen Square, and yes, until recently has been sitting in the town hall enclosed garden, which I always personally thought wasn't the greatest place for it, because only really members of staff at the town hall could see it, and it is a rather special thing, and I know that I'm looking to get a nudge from my elves as to what's happening with that, but I know that there are plans for it. It's not being lost, and it's not going into a store cupboard anywhere. We're not having any repeats of what happened with the mosaic. But I can't immediately remember. You'll have to forgive me, Gloria, where it's going. But from what I can remember, wherever it is going, it's going to be somewhere that's reasonably prominent and that many people can enjoy. But if you wanted to email me, Gloria, at michael.jones@crawley.gov.uk, I will try and get the officers to actually do that. It is in storage at the moment, but I know that we're not going to let that stay the case. And it would be a crime if we didn't find somewhere more prominent to display it. In my view, it's a real part of Crawley's history. It's a real part of our heritage, and I know there's a lot of longer-standing residents who have great memories of it. So we will certainly be we will be looking at that. No plans for a theatrical career just yet, Ben, but thanks for asking. It's always an option, isn't it? We seem to have a lull in in questions again, but keep them coming. We've still got time. I won't assume that everything's all right in Crawley just because I'm not getting the questions, but I will certainly answer any I'm given. So, just I suppose one of the things I could report back on was I hope lots of residents saw, but the Creative Crawley and the town centre business improvement district work that went on with the visit by the giant puppet Aura to the town. I think that was pretty amazing, and I saw a lot of young families that got an incredible amount of that. I got the pleasure of meeting Aura myself as well, and I would say that anyone who actually attended the event at County Mall with the little event where everyone in the community, well, not everyone, but a lot of people in the community banded together to actually stitch together a duvet for her with lots of different patterns on it, and sing Aura, I should say, to sleep. That was a wonderful family occasion, and it was really nice to see. But there were lots of other things that happened, and Aura's visit really pulled that together. But it was a nice thing, and a shout out to everyone at Creative Crawley in the town centre bid. It created quite a stir. Another thing I would be terrible. It would be terrible to. Remiss of me not to mention was, and thanks to everyone at the Crawley LGBTQ plus who arranged the Pride this year. It's the second time this has happened in as many years. It was another very successful event, and it was just great to see Goffs Park being used in such a vibrant way, and all these things take an incredible amount to organise. So thanks to Vincent, Julia, and the whole team who put that together. It was really an amazing event. Ben has asked about the beacon lighting. Thanks for your question, Ben. There was an issue up at Tilgate Park with the gas supply that couldn't be rectified in time, is the short answer. I think we're looking at that very closely for the future. I think if we can't make that work, then maybe the beacon has to be moved. I hope that's not the case. I think it should stay there because it's on high ground and it's very visible. But it is my full intention that we return in the future for any beacon lighting where we have a proper live flame. There were some safety issues that were identified when it was lit with real fire previously. But with a lot of things, I think people need to attend events to a certain extent and be mindful that while we minimise all the risks we can, there can exist some, and there certainly will with the Naked Flame. We won't please everyone, whatever we do, but I would say that we will be looking to what we can do on that, and so that we won't be looking to artificial lighting again, but we'll see what we can do, as I said. Right, we've got 10 minutes left, and Dawn has just confirmed that it's Saturday and Sunday in the town centre that there's fundraising going on for Pakistan, and I know that some of our local councillors are involved in that, including Councillor Yasmin Khan. So I think if you can and you're in and around, please do give generously. There's been a great deal of damage, and there's a lot that needs to be done. We appear to be running out of questions again. I will have a quick scroll, see if I've missed any. Nobody's complaining that I've missed any, so hopefully I've picked them up. If I haven't, you're very welcome to ask them again. Yeah. But I think no, I'm not seeing it. I don't think we've got an awful lot more questions coming in. I think I might go through a few of the useful telephone numbers we've got. If you don't particularly want to try and tackle me with your individual issues, but you've got you've got something that's not been done, you can obviously email me on michael.jones@crawley.gov.uk, but you can of course call the council directly. You can call the council on 01293 43 8000. That's 01293 438 000, for the general helpline. If you're a tenant and you need a repair to your property, then obviously there's the telephone. The hotline is 01293 438 111, if you want to get directly through. If there are any issues that you think the community wardens need to get involved in, and that tends to be things like antisocial behaviour, low-level stuff, but you can call the police as well. But the community wardens are there, and you can call them on their number, which is 07884 492 324, and they should be able to help you. And of course, if there is anything going on, crime and antisocial behaviour wise, you can always call Sussex Police on 101, or if it is an emergency, you should always call 999. So that would be that. Let's have a look. Gloria, dare I mention the clock as well? You may always dare, Gloria. Is this the clock that used to be in Queen Square? Because I'm sure this has been raised before. Let me know if I am barking up the wrong tree. But there were issues with the tree, the clock in Queen Square, which basically mean, as I understand it, it's not possible to use. And indeed, I don't even think it's within the council's ownership anymore. It's gone to Red Hill apparently. So I think that short answer is there's not much that can be done there. Had a question about whether we could have recycling bins alongside rubbish bins in the town, in sort of public areas like the town centre, from Dawn. Thanks. It's not a bad idea. I know it's done elsewhere. There might be issues around that. I have a feeling at the back of my head it might have been asked before, but we can review that. And I think that's the last question. Now, I think everyone will apologise. I've been looking away from the screen quite a lot today, but I've been having to look at where the questions are coming in, not quite from where I normally would, but we'll sort out any quirks like that for the future. And so I think that if there aren't any more questions, speak now or forever hold your peace. Well, not forever. You can put it in the chat if you like, but alternatively, if you want to email me, or let the council know how you feel that the Q&A session's gone. I hope I've tried to answer the questions. And if there's any ideas you have of how we do this going forward, I'm very interested to hear your views. I'd like to thank everyone for your questions. It's been good to reconnect, it's an exciting time. It's a historic time. We're in a new era in many different ways, but we still have a community to serve. I'm committed to that, and I know that all of us here at Crawley Borough Council are. Life, if only it were more ideal, but we're always trying to make things just that little better for residents, and I know that we're all committed to improving the town in whatever ways we can, and that can be big or small. And I look forward to going on that journey with everyone, and hope you'll support that. So it's a pleasure to be back. We needed a bit of time to look at everything, and but as I said, we can have these sessions in the future if the feedback is that it's useful, and I'm certainly happy with that. So, right, I think I'm looking down. No, doesn't seem to be any more questions. Thanks for your questions from myself and the Crawley Borough Council elves who've been working tirelessly behind the scenes to make sure that this all goes well. And everyone take care. And no doubt see you again. All the very best.